Welcome to the show. Now, today we are featuring a world-class product of a Kenyan-born investor who has really dared abroad. I'm talking about 88 Nairobi Condominium, which is set to become the tallest high-end residential building in the region. Yes, the investor is none other than Jonathan Jackson, born in Eldoret and educated in London. We first met him in Czech Republic in 2019, then in Upper Hill, where this foundation was just a dream to an iconic building. And now construction is moving fast.
It is going to be the tallest high-end residential building in Africa.
Jonathan Jackson on daring abroad again.
I was born as son of a pastor and a teacher in Eldoret.
Find out why 88 Nairobi is a hot cake.
It's ideal for diaspora.
On My Magical Kenya, kuna lion hapa. A walk in the bush with Agnes Marco, a tour guide in Mara who has overcome cultural barriers.
So this is the Chinese contractor that's building the
Jonathan Jackson is an investor with big dreams.
But yes, welcome.
And as he ushers me into 88 Nairobi Condominium, my mind takes me back to the beginning. And in December 2019, this is how this place looked like. The construction is now moving pretty fast despite the initial challenges that were occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic.
So many people working here. I mean, at the moment we're about 300 people working here, but as we develop, it will actually grow and get more and more. So we should be up to nearly 1,000 people at the peak time.
Jonathan Jackson is a real estate guru in Kenya and Europe. He is the chairman of Lordship Group, whose headquarters is in Prague City, but it has subsidiaries, including Lordship Africa, that is based in Nairobi.
I was born as son of a pastor and a teacher in Eldoret. My father was teaching at the time, and then he became a pastor after that with AIC Church. So yes, I did my schooling here in Kenya. Then I did my secondary schooling in the UK, did my university in London, and then I moved to Czechoslovakia. I built up my business there in real estate. My background is in construction, so I learned how to put bricks together and how cranes should work and how to manage a construction site.
88 Nairobi is expected to be completed towards the end of 2023. The building will have 300 apartments.
88 Nairobi is very unique. It is actually going to be the tallest high-end residential building in Africa at 44 floors, 150 meters tall, and it's going to set completely new standards. We're using European standards and fire standards. Then there's security, so we're doing it to UN standards of security because we want to make sure everyone in there is safe, and that we can also, investors can rent the building to the World Bank or to embassies or other, international firms who require UN standards of security.
What's so unique about Upper Hill and the location?
Well, that's a condominium. A condominium is where you can live and play and work all in one place. Because within the condominium, you have your apartment to sleep in. You have there a working area because there's a business center. There's a co-working area. If you go to a co-working office in Nairobi, it's very expensive. You have to pay there. In 88 Nairobi, it's completely for free. There are business meeting rooms, which you can rent, but they won't be very expensive.
Jackson says the apartments are 30% sold, and Kenyans living abroad are coming on board big time.
It's ideal for diaspora because they understand the product. Whether you're in America or in Dubai or in Europe, you will know buildings similar to 88 Nairobi. The high rise, the convenience of a condominium. And in fact, we have much more facilities and amenities than most condominiums anywhere in the world. And for the diaspora, it also gives them the opportunity to invest into Kenya, into a really prime building. And also they know that when they come to Kenya, they've got somewhere to stay. And this is a really nice little bit of detail that, or idea that I put into the project, because we have the actual apartments. We also have guest rooms, and the guest rooms, we've got about 12 guest rooms. The guest rooms are for rent. So if you are living in one of the apartments and you have too many guests, you can rent guest rooms within the building. They don't have to leave the building, which is great. And if you're a diaspora, because you're an owner of the apartment, you could be renting the apartment out to someone, and when you come into town, you just rent one of the guest rooms.
Just take us through the various apartments and the features of each.
Down below is the lounge area, and in the lounge area it's like a 5-star hotel, multifunctional room, the gym, the spa, the restaurant down here. We've even got a convenience store. If you've forgotten tea bags, you need some extra tea or some sugar, you don't have to get in the car and drive off to a shopping center and come back again. It's all within the building. And also, like, you may come home late in the evening, you don't want to go to the restaurant, you want to cook but you don't feel like cooking everything. We'll have frozen food, frozen meals here. And then what we have here is the parking above, and it's valet parking, so you can have valet parking. Then when you go up the building, this is the VIP lounge up here, and the VIP lounge above it is the swimming pool with the deck on it. And all the floors below are the executive apartments, and we are sitting in a sample executive apartment. So everything you see in here, the kitchen, the tables, even the chairs, everything is actually all included in the price. Even the carpets and the curtains are included in the price. So these are fully furnished apartments. We've also put in the cabling, the pipes for all the air conditioning. So if you want to get air conditioning, all you have to do is buy the unit and plug it in, because you don't have to then cut holes in the wall and everything. We've already put everything in for you. Above it, these are the Executive Plus apartments, no furniture, but higher standard, higher quality. And of course the view is amazing up there, but they come fully air conditioned. And then one row of duplexes, just one row, so only 7 of them. And we've already got people wanting to buy them. And then we've got the penthouses above. So, and the penthouses, each penthouse is half a floor, and it has its own swimming pool. And then on top we do have a helicopter pad, which will be for emergency use.
How about the prices?
On the pricing, Alex, the prices, we have 3 different categories. We have studios, we have 1 beds and 2 beds. And you can link a 2-bed with a studio together to make a 3-bed. At the moment, the studios are really going. I think we've only got about 7 left at the moment. And the lowest price is 11 million. And as I said, the prices go up as we go up the building. On the 1-beds, the 1-beds have been very, very popular. We've actually sold out up to the 27th floor.
It is estimated that there are 40,000 people working in Upper Hill, which is considered to be the new CBD of Nairobi. They top the list of the categories 88 Nairobi is targeting.
We've got the main hospital here, we've got all the main businesses here, and the World Bank and all the other big firms here in Upper Hill, and embassies. We've then got the High Court is here, so all the many law firms around here. And then we've got the civil servants as well here. So we've got a huge number of people, and they all travel every day 3 to 4 hours a day to get to where they live, to get to Upper Hill and back again. We are a solution. We are an answer to those people, so that they can rent or buy and live in Upper Hill, and they can just walk to work or take a 5-minute ride to work.
Then there are those who simply want to invest.
There's no competition, because if you buy in Westlands or Kilimani or anywhere like that, you've got a huge amount of other apartments. So your competition is really high. You're competing against a lot of other apartments. In Upper Hill, there is no competition.
The third category comprises those who are looking for luxurious living.
So we have got only 7 duplexes, and these duplexes are unbelievable in terms of quality and size and facilities. They even have their own jacuzzi built in on one of they have 2 balconies. In one of the balconies they have their own built-in jacuzzi on it. So, and the floor to ceiling height is 3.25 meters.
But what is the guarantee for return on investment?
In terms of return on investment, it's actually really good because of the lack of supply in Upper Hill. In fact, the lack of supply is almost zero. I mean, there are a few apartment buildings around which are sort of, you know, they're okay, but they're nothing to our standard. And because of the lack and the big demand, rents in Upper Hill are far higher than anywhere else. And of course, Upper Hill is the most expensive part of Nairobi.
Talk of security and guaranteed ownership, and many are keen to understand how the property law has changed and how it affects ownership of apartments.
So then we had the developer builds on a piece of land, which is called the mother title. Then he issues long-term subleases, 99-year leases to the customer and registers this 99 sub-year lease against his title. So essentially, the developer had full control over the title document for a few years before they transferred it to what was called the management company, where the customers would come together, form a company, and then transfer the land to this company. So between the years between you buy the property and the mother title is transferred to the company owned by the customers feared what it is the developer is doing with the land. So with the new system, we will not need to rely on a mother title. You as the apartment owner, you will own the unit, you will get a certificate of title, so you will not have to refer to the developer anymore. You will be able to exercise your property rights independently with the new system.
With that, we come to the end of part 1 of this show. When we return, Jonathan Jackson's special offer to buyers as he turns 60. Welcome back. Today we are featuring Jonathan Jackson, a daring Kenyan investor who is putting up the tallest high-end residential building in Africa. Born in Eldoret and educated in London, Jonathan moved to Czech Republic, where his journey in the real estate business began.
This green building here is where I did my first development in Prague.
Your first
My very first development in Prague,
wow.
yeah.
It must be nostalgic too.
It is nostalgic, and the second floor down, I rented it, the apartment, I painted it, put carpets in, some new lighting, and I subleased it for a very high rent. So I was making a margin on the difference between the rent I pay and the rent I was collecting, a very high margin.
Which year was that?
That was in 1990.
1990? I was in Form 4. During a visit to Prague in 2019, Jonathan showed us some of his properties.
This building here is my hotel. I've sold it now, but I developed it.
The visit also coincided with the opening of a modern shopping mall, which was yet another addition to his list of investments. Jonathan, who has been held up in Kenya since the coronavirus pandemic disrupted international travel, has put all his mind on the 88 Nairobi project. He has just celebrated his birthday, and he has a special offer to buyers as he turns 60.
One of the things that I have done is at my birthday, I have announced a great giveaway. So I've called it the Grand Giveaway. And for your viewers, who can look at it, I suggest you go onto the website, and if you go into the website, you will see under the giveaway, the Grand Giveaway, you will see what I actually presented at my birthday, and it's an amazing offer. And it's a bit of a secret, but I'll allow your viewers to go and look for themselves and see what they can actually find. And it's something completely new in Nairobi. It hasn't been done below. Everyone was blown away by it.
Jonathan is telling potential buyers to look out for various payment plans in place.
For those who can pay 100% in advance, we are giving a discount. That's up to discussion, depending on what you're offering. So do talk to the sales team for that. But our standard payment plan is to pay 10% on an offer letter. We do have a reservation, $1,000 for reservation, but the first payment 10% on the offer letter, 20% on the sale agreement, and then we have 60% paid during construction on a monthly basis and 10% on completion when we finish. So that's our standard payment plan. Thankfully, a lot of people find that very convenient because you're effectively paying over a 2.5, 3 year period you're paying, so you've got lots of time to pay it off. In some cases, we are able to look at other arrangements. If you want to pay 40% or 50% in advance and the rest paid, we can discuss that, but that's on a one-on-one basis.
And as we wind up, here is the other side of Jonathan Jackson.
Beautiful shot! Oh!
Did you know that he is the owner of the Nairobi City Stars Football Club through the Jonathan Jackson Foundation?
I'm not a footballer. I was just told that to help integrate into the communities, sport is a really important thing. And of course, football is the #1 sport for us here in Kenya. I was encouraged to buy a football team. So we bought a football team which was at the bottom of the Super League, Nairobi City Stars, 2 years ago. In 1 year, they were the champions of the Super League. And now we're in the Premier League. And I'm pleased to say as of today, we're number 8. So I just feel that to help to engage the youth in sport was to, in America and other places in the world, basketball is very, very popular. And basketball in Kenya is really a college game. And so what we're trying to do is to build basketball courts in the communities. We've already built one in Kangwari. We're looking to build now another 5 in Kangwari, in Dagoretti North, so that we'll do it in one cluster, get it working and get the teams working in the area. Then we'll go to another community and build 5 there. And then we want to go to every different community and build like 5 basketball courts so that we can build, because basketball is great for everybody, and it really helps to engage the youth in sport.
Great, you've seen it, you've heard from the investors. We now move into our last segment, My Magical Kenya. And today, join me for a walk in the bush with a lady who has defied all odds to become a top tour guide in the Mara. Take a look.
My Magical Kenya, brought to you by Chams Adventures.
Agnes Mako is in her own class. She has steered herself into the tourism sector against all odds, and she is now employed by Olseki Hemingway's Mara Camp as a tour guide. The camp is located in Naboisho Conservancy. Yes, you'll find her behind the wheels, navigating through the world. At Olseki Camp, you'll also find her guiding visitors through an activity known as bushwalk.
Sometimes tunafundisha watu kuhusu flowers, shrubs.
Agnes understands flora and fauna here like the back of her hand. This plant is known as Olseki, or the tree that produces leaves that are used like sandpaper. And that is the plant this camp is named after.
And again, it is a medicine. Sometimes if you have got eye problems, you can drop the water on your eyes.
As we walk in the bush, Agnes takes us through the do's and don'ts.
Ukiona lion amekukujia, simama tu na umwangaliane.
We, kwa macho.
Yeah, wataona hata wewe. Sasa
jasiri.
uko tayari kupambana na.
Na nikiona nyoka?
Ukiona nyoka, nyoka has got a warning sound. Like it has got a hissing sound. Ukisikia hiyo hissing sound, uepukane uende. Buffalo inakuanga dangerous kiasi. Lakini vile utafanya, ukiona tu ulale flat.
Ulale flat.
Yeah, mpaka kichwa uweke chini. Juu pembe zake zinakaa hivi. Sasa akijaribu kukuknock haizi.
For how long have you done that?
This is my 4th year. Yeah. In Hemingways, I have never went to another camp apart from these ones. I came for my first internship, second internship, and I get a job. You know, when I was young, it was like I wanted to be a driver. Like one day, I went to Nairobi when I was in primary school, and I saw many ladies driving, and I really admire them. And that was a story that I was giving my mother, that I want to be a driver. But when I grew up, I went to high school, and I wanted to do journalism. But what happened? I didn't get money to proceed. But I have to go to college school called Koyaki Guiding School because I got a sponsor. So I changed my career. And the time I went there, you know, I learned about the wild animals. I mean, the fauna and flora. And I really liked it.
But Agnes says she would not be where she is now if she did not bolt out of an early marriage arrangement. She says that she was to be married off just after completing her primary education, but she escaped to chart her own course.
So that time I went to my head teacher and explained about that challenge. He really helped me. Vile nilikaka, mamangu akanipeleka high school.
Ilikuwa inaitwaje high school?
Kapkishara Girls, iko Kericho County, Bureti District.
So where else have you been to in Kenya? Have you also been a tourist, explored or gone to other parts of Kenya or only?
Yeah.
Apart from Kericho and Narok?
I went to Mombasa to the Bioken to see different types of snakes. And I went to Diani, I went to Foi, Lamu, all those parts in Mombasa. And again I went to Nairobi. And I went again to Kajiado. I really love what I'm doing because it really helped me. It has been I really got a lot of benefit from that, especially being a lady. Like now in my family, I'm really helping them. Even my young brothers and sisters, now they're in school because I'm paying fees for them.
Wow, what a story of a daring girl child, and what a magical turnaround of her life. Kudos to Agnes Marco. A refreshing walk in the park there, and with that we come to the end of the show. Our main guest today was Jonathan Jackson, a Kenyan investor who is really daring. He's dared across the world, and back home he's putting up what is gonna become the tallest high-end residential building in the region, 88 Nairobi Condominium. On behalf of my crew at Chams Media, many thanks for watching, and see you again next time.